Welcome back to Anime Oh Yeah! In the second part of this summer season preview, we are going to take a close look at Overlord, Prismailla, God Eater, Gate Jeitai, and Gangsta. There are always some animes that you just don't know if they are going to be good or not. Prismailla might not seem like a strong anime that would work from first glance. A Mahou Shoujo series that takes characters from the Fate universe and mix them up together. Actually, I didn't choose to watch the first season because it didn't really appeal to me from first glance. But when the second season came out, someone told me that there was Yuri in it. Wait, Yuri love? Okay, I am in. So in the end, I watched everything of this series, and I'm really glad I did, because in the end, everything works perfectly, and Prismailla actually turned out to be a really good anime. When we are talking about this anime, you definitely have to give some credit to Silver Link for its animation. It is not a very high budget anime, but the quality is very solid. The magics and the battles look amazing, and the characters are fine as well. So you can really feel that Silver Link has put in a lot of effort in this anime. The story of the anime is pretty simple to follow, especially if you are familiar with Magical Girl series in general. But I guess people watching Magical Girl series don't really care about story at all, because Magical Girl series they are all about magic and kawaii girls. And if you can reach season 2, you will have the pleasure to enjoy some lovely Yuri moments. All in all, Prismailla is a fan series and it's really worth checking out if you care for magical girls, action, fantasy, Yuri, or Fate universe in general. Well, just by looking at this picture, you can probably tell that I'm not that interested in this anime at all. Like other game anime adaptations, God Eater suffers from way too many weaknesses that can really drag it down. The original game, God Eater Burst, was a 2011 action role-playing game for the PlayStation Portable developed and published by Namco Bandai Games in Japan. The setting of the game was as cliched as it could be. Basically, in year 2071, the whole world was completely destroyed by mysterious monsters known as Aragami. An organization known as Faring was made to exterminate Aragami using special weapons called Godarks. These weapons are made from the cells of an Aragami, and those who are experts in killing Aragami are known as God Eaters. Only God Eaters are capable of exterminating Aragami, so basically these heroes they have to save the world. Wow, this plot sounds so exciting and so interesting, right? I can't offer any more comment on that. To make the matter worse, Ufotable, the studio who is going to produce this anime, decides to use 3D CG technology on everything of this anime. Yes, you are hearing it correctly. This is going to be a complete 3D CG anime. And you know what's going to happen to those human characters. I have had enough of those geometrical human faces and noodle hairs. Even though Ufotable is well known for its promising animation quality, but the faces of these human characters in this PV don't look promising at all. Personally speaking, I still prefer 2D animation. That's why KyoAni is my favorite and Ufotable is not. So there you have it. If you want to try out some creepy CG technology or if you have played the game, go ahead and watch this anime. I guess I will just stay in my KyoAni Wonderland for a bit longer. If you are a fan of hardcore gangster stuff, here is an anime for you. Gangsta, a new anime this summer, which features two hardcore male protagonists, Nicholas and Warwick. These two they live in the city of Ergastulum, a small town filled with strange people and a lot of mafia. These two they are known as handyman and they can take care of the job that no one else can handle. One day their not so peaceful life was broken by a request from a cop and they also met a prostitute and got involved in a mysterious incident. The original manga was well received by the fans of gangster genre, and the studio that will bring us this anime is Maglobe, the studio that has also produced The World God Only Knows, Deadman Wonderland, and Hayate the Combat Battler. So if you are a fan of Italian mafia shows, how about adding this anime into your season lineup? A1 Picture is always very active during summer season. In 2012, it brought us Sword Art Online. In 2014, it produced Anoa Zero. This year's summer is a big season for A1 Picture as well. And this anime, Geto Jietai, Kanochinite Kaku Tatakairi, is one of the 3 anime that are in A1 Pictures lineup this season. Judging by its super long title, you probably know that this is a light novel adaptation. And just like other light novel adaptation anime, it has a fairly stereotypical plot. Basically, a space gate appears in Ginza, Tokyo, and a bunch of monsters emerge to attack the city. Japanese government has to send out their self-defense force, known as Jietai, to repel the enemies. Thanks to their more advanced weaponry and tactics, Jietai easily repels the enemy. But in order to investigate this event and investigate the world on the other side of the gate, a special investigation team is formed, and our protagonist Itami Yuji is one of the officers who are sent to investigate the other world, where magic, dragons, elves, and monsters are real. Our protagonist has to use his knowledge of fantasy story to make his way in this new world and possibly make his way into a new Halley. So there you have it, a fairly stereotypical fantasy light novel anime adaptation from A1 Pictures. If you love fantasy stories, this is the show for you, and the quality of A1 Pictures definitely won't disappoint you. But in the end, I guess A1 Pictures is not really counting on this show to become the biggest hit this season anyway, because it already has 2 other triumph cards in its lineup. An anime adaptation of the light novel series Overlord is making its debut this summer. In the near future, virtual reality game has become very popular across the world. One day, a very popular online game Yggdrasil decided to shut down quietly. However, our protagonist Momoga was not locked out. Wow, sounds exactly like what happened in Sword Art Online and Log Horizon. Well, I guess it's a bit dangerous to play online games in the near future because once you log in, something must happen and you must get trapped and there's no way for you to log out. But this time it's a bit different for our protagonist because our protagonist Momoga decided to not log out intentionally. And then Momoga is transformed into the image of a skeleton as the most powerful wizard in that world. Oh no, this is exactly what I fear. The most powerful wizard. Sounds like a very OP title already. When you're writing a story, having an OP character right in the beginning is something that you have to avoid, because once you have a Mr. Perfect, Mr. Super Strong, it becomes really hard to create plot. Kazuya from Mahoka is a perfect example. Anyway, back to the story. The game world continues to change and all the NPCs are starting to feel emotion. With no parents, no friends, no Halley, our ordinary young man decides to conquer this new world with his new servants. Well, seriously, I really don't understand why Madhouse decides to pick this show, because it looks like Overlord is way worse than the No Game No Life last year, which is also done by Madhouse. But Madhouse always surprises us, who knows. I guess I will give the first episode a shot. After that, if Overlord turns to be just another mediocre fantasy game anime, then I will drop the show at that stage. Thank you so much for staying with me. Please do subscribe and click the like button down below to support us. See you next season.